so you know what it is. It is your girl Mia C, and we are living in reality on 101tkoradio.com. Yes, round of applause. Mia C is back. So we're here to talk about reality TV. I am your reality TV expert. And to give you a little bit about me, I am from Chicago. I moved to Atlanta and I am obsessed with reality TV. And I just love how reality television also relates to my life. Hence, we are living in reality. So stay with me today. We're going to talk about Jen Shaw, who just got sentenced. Jen Shaw, of course, we know her from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. She was just sentenced to about 6.5 years for fraud. And we're going to talk about Diddy possibly having a new reality show. Diddy, my absolute favorite. We're always going to have a P. Diddy update. Maybe I just need a segment called the P. Diddy update. We're also going to talk about Travis and Kylie Kardashian and they break up again. We're going to talk about Lala dating 22-year-olds. And we're going to talk about the new cast of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I have to give you my take of Love and Marriage Huntsville. So some of us might know him as the Holtz. That's what we call it. Like, oh, girl, you watching the Holtz? But it's Love and Marriage Huntsville on OWN, produced by Carlos King, Atlanta's own. And we're going to talk about the reunion, give some background information, get a little bit of an update about what's going on with Tisha and Marcel. We're going to talk about the impact. A reality show right now that's kind of failing, and it's talking about some of our Instagram celebrities. And you heard Big Crit. I need your energy. So I'm going to ask you to call up, give me everything that's going on in reality with you this week. And you can call me at 678-439-7419. And we're going to jump in and live in reality. So I want to start with Diddy. Like I said, no day can be complete for me without some type of P. Diddy conversation. I had the luxury of meeting, of meeting Diddy back in a long time ago because I'm not giving my age. So I was able to meet Puff several times over the course of my lifespan when I was running around in the music circle. We used to have a network mixer here at his restaurant called Justin's. Justin's was a place to be on a Monday in Atlanta. And a girlfriend and I would go down there and we were pursuing our lives in the entertainment and media realm. So we would go down there to network and, as people say, get in where you fit in. And Diddy actually came over to the table, talked to us, paid for my meal, gave us tickets to a show he had that following Tuesday. And fast forward, I was actually able to get in a position to work a little bit more closely with him and meet him. I went up to New York and was able to sit in the boardroom with him. And for me, it's just pure genius. I know we call Kanye West a genius, but when it comes to his businesses, to me, Kanye and Diddy have got to be at the peak of their businesses. So I see on Instagram, they always say, would you like to do dinner with Jay-Z or Oprah? For me, it would definitely be Diddy or Kanye. So with that being said, Diddy, making sure his business is taken care of first. He has just trademarked Diddy Plus 7. And so it's leading a lot of people to speculate that for Diddy to trademark a television show called Diddy Plus 7, coincidentally, he has 7 children, that he might be in the works of shopping a reality show about him and his 7 children. We know he just recently had the newborn baby just back in October. So it's suspected that Diddy's going to be doing a reality show with himself and his children. We know about his stepchild he had with Kim Porter, who is officially, authentically, I guess biologically, I'll be sure son. We know him as Quincy. We've seen him in several acting roles. We know about Chance. We know he has the King Kong album out right now that actually did #1 on the Billboard chart, so that was pretty good for him. We know about the 2 twins. We know about the other daughter he had with a young lady here in Atlanta. And we know about the first child, Justin, that he had with Misha, who's now established in the industry. So Diddy Plus 7, I'll be tuned in. I'll be ready to watch. He's had reality television success before. He's done Making the Band, a couple of seasons there. We remember Dylan. And he's also had his reality show with Fergie, where he had himself and his good friend DJ Khaled was a judge, and they judged you on your musical talent, right? And what was the other young lady there with the bass? All about that bass, Megan Trainor, that's her name. All about that bass, no trouble. And Fergie was on there, so it was the four with the rings. I absolutely love that show. I hope they bring it back. It's been so many years that I can't possibly see him bringing it back, but I would like to see it again. So, Diddy, we look forward to seeing you again. Reality TV, Diddy plus 7. I'm tuned in, I'm locked in, and I'm ready for it. Jen Shaw, let's get right on into it. Jen just recently was sentenced to 6.5 years for fraud. And once those 6.5 years are up, if you know anything about federal, typically you have to do at least three-fourths of your time. After those years are up, she still is going to be on a 5-year supervised probation. Now, I can't for the life of me understand if you know you're committing fraud. If nobody knows, if the government doesn't know, your spouse doesn't know, you know. If you know you're out committing fraud, why are you doing these reality shows? Someone is going to dig up a background about you. Somebody. Like you might be regular old Jane who goes to work at Delta. Somebody is Googling you, Jane, and wants to find some dirt on you. Somebody is. Somebody. The ticket lady, she didn't like you. You came in late one day and made her miss her shift, and she's gonna Google and find out some dirt. Yeah, you and your husband owe some taxes. So you can only imagine when you're to the magnitude of being on reality TV, flaunting such wealth, that someone is going to do some research to see where this wealth comes from. So Jen isn't the first one who's been guilty of this. So we have Jen Shaw. If we remember Teresa from the Real Housewives of New Jersey, she did her time in jail. Her husband was actually deported back to Italy for his association with fraud and wire fraud. Once they were found guilty, just recently we had the Chrisleys, who was found guilty of fraud and wire fraud, and they've been sentenced to jail time as well. And we can go back to Apollo. Apollo in the Real Housewives of Atlanta also was found guilty with some type of fraud he was committing and wire fraud as well. I'm just curious if you have dirt, why bring it onto reality TV and not expect for it to be uncovered? I just can't understand that one for the life of me. So, but this is your show. You're living in reality with me today, Mia C, on 101tkoradio.com. Give me a call. Let me know how your week was. What type of living in reality did you do? You're going to have to stay by to hear about the update of everything that took place at the reunion. We have to talk about Ready to Love is back. And we're also going to talk about Carlos King trying to do a biopic of Escape behind Candy's back. So give me a call, 678-439-7419.
No, we good.
I didn't hear it.
Okay.
on TKORadio.com. It's your girl Mia C, and we are living in reality. So, as promised, we're going to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's a new season, and they are currently filming. So, the season 15 cast has been revealed. And of course, with every reality show, once they start filming, they start having the drama and it starts to spill out onto Instagram and into all the blogs, and you get to get an inside look of some of the things they're going to be talking about this season. So, the Real Housewives of Atlanta are currently filming right now, and some of your favorites are coming back again. You have Sheree, you have Kenya, of course, you have favorite Candy returning, and we have Sonia and Ross coming back, and we have Drew. So, Janelle Stevens has been added to the cast, and she's a newcomer on the scene and in the world of media. Not many of us are familiar with her, and I say us because I'm not familiar with Janelle either. So I did a little bit of digging, and the most I could really find about her is that she's an entrepreneur in the beauty world. She's known for her hairline she has and a beauty line for skincare and for cosmetics. Many people say that she's going to bring the class back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know. There's been several attempts to bring class back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. We do know that the last few seasons that ratings have gone down. Many fans have asked for the show to be recast. There was actually a petition that I signed that was going around saying, let's just throw the whole cast away. Let's just throw it away and start from the beginning. But Andy and Bravo seems to think there's still a winning ticket there between Kenya Moore and between Candy. So he's using them, and now, of course, giving Marlo her peach to really headline the show and to elevate the brand back up. So they brought in Janelle. So Janelle Stevens will be brought in again. She's an entrepreneur who has a hair care line and a skin care line, and she's expected to bring class, for whatever that means, back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's also revealed that Sonia and Ross are expecting. So last season, part of the storyline, Ross wanted her to have a baby. She wasn't sure if she wanted to have one. She talked to Drew about it, and Drew Sidora betrayed her confidence and talked to everybody else about it, told her that you need to do whatever your husband says, pretty much. And Sonia gave a lot of pushback and reluctance on having the child. But now it's been revealed that Sonia and Ross are expecting. So congratulations, Sonia. So we will see that play out. There it is. There it is. We will see that play out over this season, season 15 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Also, Kenya's already sent her ducks in a row to let you know what she's going to be dealing with and talking about. Kenya is still married to Mark. Kenya, girl, we still married. It's been 3 seasons. So she reveals what's taking so long in this divorce. I think they've been divorced longer than they were married. But what's taking so long in this divorce, she says, is there's no prenup. And her and Mark can't come to a resolution and an agreement of how to separate amicably. A couple of seasons ago, the last season, matter of fact, that Mark was on the show, he was at dinner with Candy and Todd, and he expressed that if at any point him and Kenya were to separate or divorce, she can go her way, he would go his way. Matter of fact, she can have everything because he said he was able to build it from the ground up before, he'll be able to build it from the ground up again. Kenya went on to say that she was successful in her own right and didn't need anything from him as long as he was a co-parent to Brooklyn. 3 seasons later, we're still not divorced because of lack of a prenup and not being able to agree on the distribution of, I guess, some of the monetary things or how to take care of Brooklyn maybe. But we'll look forward to seeing Kenya again tell us about being a single mom and while being married and how hard it is for her out here. So good luck, Kenya. Hopefully this season you're able to truly get your divorce and move on. Another element, I guess we're going to learn more about Kenya with friendships. She doesn't feel that she's building solid friendships with the ladies on the show. She expressed on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen how she would have liked to have been invited to Portia's wedding. Now, we all remember her and Portia had a very bad relationship in the very beginning from when they first met. Portia threw digs about how old she was, made fun of the Miss Universe title, Miss America title, Mrs. whatever title. She just kept disrespecting Kenya. My favorite line was, "Hey, Ashy," when she kept saying that Kenya had ashy feet. But Kenya and Portia always clash. And even when it seemed that they were on a mend of their friendship, the children were playing together and having play dates, they clashed again. But Kenya felt some type of way about not being invited to Portia's wedding. Now, why would you invite a friend of me to such an important day and an important event for you? So I definitely kind of agree with Portia. If we're not getting along and we're not doing that great, just for the cameras, I'm not going to invite you. I'm just not going to. But hopefully, as I always say, they can mend that friendship relationship. And if not, sometimes it's best to just go your separate ways. Everyone is not your friend, and that's fine. You're not everyone's cup of tea. Marlo's getting her storyline ready. She already let us know that her storage unit, in a very influential side of town here in Atlanta, she says her storage unit was broken into and burglarized, that many of her designer goods had been stolen and had been destroyed. And she did this publicly on Instagram. I thought this was odd. She posted on Instagram that her storage unit had been broken into and that so many of her luxe designer items had been stolen. But seemingly, the storage unit was unfamiliar with this and that it had been no claim or report filed or made. The storage unit company actually came on Marlo's post and was like, "Hey, next time maybe you should tell us about it first before you tell the world." But they did say send us a DM and we'll be more than happy to help you with that. I thought that was quite strange that you would make an Instagram post before you would make any type of police filing or at least talk to the storage unit. But all this, I'm sure, and more is going to play out as we prepare to watch season 15 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I know I will be tuned in. I'm sure you will be tuned in, and together we'll be living in reality. So I'll be right back. 101tkoradio.com.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And that was Ghost Town DJ's My Boo. And if you missed it, I am Mia C, and we are living in reality on 101 TKO Radio. You missed it. I was in the studio getting it. I'm all huffed and puffed and out of breath. Just my boo. So I really want to talk about Carlos King, right? The king of reality. Oh, that king is so messy boots. But I love him. And I think I'm going to save him for the 3 o'clock hour. And so that I can give you a full spectrum of the past of who he is and who he's trying to be and where is he going and why everyone loves his new show, Love and Marriage Huntsville. So I think I'm going to save him for 3 o'clock, right? So I can have a whole lot of time to give you a whole lot of information. So just to throw out some of the random things that has happened this week, let's talk about French Montana. Now, French Montana came to us on reality TV with his documentary he did, and he did an unauthorized before. And we got to learn a lot about French Montana with that and how he gained his success into the music industry. So recently, he's down right on the outskirts of Miami, the Gardens, if you're familiar with Miami, one of those, if you know, you know. And he was shooting, and I'm doing air quotes, shooting a music video. And gunshots rung out. So allegedly, some man came there while they were shooting the video and tried to rob them. 10 people were shot at the scene, and French Montana ran into a KFC for sheltering. They called the police. The police, yes, this really happened just last week. So French Montana is there shooting his music video, and some guy just randomly wanders onto set outside of a KFC. It's called The Licking. They're in Miami Gardens. They actually don't call it KFC. It's called The Licking, but it is a KFC restaurant. And he attempted to rob them and shot 10 people. So French got the hell on and ran and took cover in a KFC for sheltering until the police came. Now the police chief is trying to decide, do he charge French with anything for like reckless behavior because he did not have permits to be shooting that type of music video there. So quickly he made a quick pivot like we all do. I wasn't shooting a video. I was outside with my boys and we were just celebrating my album release. That way you don't need permits because it was just a gathering of us outside this restaurant and we were just celebrating. But multiple videos from multiple angles are all over social media that shows French was actually shooting a music video. So right now it's being investigated as whether he's going to receive any type of charges or be fined for not having his proper permits. The justification is that the chief of police there in Miami Gardens says that had they known it was being a music video, especially of rap and hip hop, they could have had units out there on the scene and made sure that things were going to be protected and that the proper safety measures had been followed. But since they didn't, and now it's resulted in these 10 people being injured, they're looking to see if they're going to charge French. So good luck, French. Hope you get out of it. Hope you get. Why is it that the hip hop culture comes with so much violence? I keep trying to figure that out. Country music has some of the same undertones in it. They do talk about drugs and country music, contrary to what many people think. They do talk about some murders and growing up in bad environments and guys cheating. And they even have some violent tendencies in it. We heard bust the windows out your car. But why is it that so much violence follows the hip hop culture more so than any other genre? I don't know. I don't get that. But hopefully those 10 do come through and move on and they're well and they're able to acclimate back into the regular world, into society. Some of the injuries were critical. So if you're wondering, like, what does she mean if they acclimate back? Some people, they say, are really, really bad. And some are in serious condition. Some was in critical condition. All my French take show. I wonder if that's a lawsuit pending. Can you sue French Montana if you were on his set, someone tried to rob you and shoot you? Can you sue French? I wonder how that can go, especially if he did not have the proper permits. So even outside maybe of the legalities of the law, he might have to come out out financially out of this pocket. Maybe. I'm not sure. But give me a call. Tell me what you think. 678-439-7419. Instead of quick come up. And speaking about recovery, Apple Watts, a video service this week about Apple Watts. You might remember her from Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. And a video has surfaced of her recovery. She's attempting to walk again. She looks great. You can still see all her injuries from her accident. And we're wishing you the best to Apple Watts. I can't wait to see her again. I pray for a speedy recovery for her and for all that was shot. I cannot just wait to get to this Carlo King, honey. I just can't help but to want to keep talking about Carlos, but I have to save it. Talking about saving it, let's save the impact. I tried. So last week we talked about the impact and the new reality show about how Instagram followers can boost you over, and you had Jada Waiter, who was little baby's mom, little baby mama, and we talked about Ari Fletcher, who was dating young Moneybag Yo, and all of them and their followers and how they got on this show and Arrogant Tate. Hated it. I'm trying. They're not giving me any substance, any reason to watch them whatsoever. All I'm seeing is lashes and baby hair. I can't get past it. That's all I'm seeing is lashes and baby hair. Jada Waiter, give me something, Jada. You probably have the most personality of anyone on the show. So Jada, they're relying on you. They depend on you to bring it through. Ready to Love is back with nephew Tommy. So Ready to Love is back this season, and they're down in Miami again, as they say, bringing the heat. And I think this time the cast is a more attractive cast. Let me say it that way. So they have more of an attractive cast on the female and on the male side. So I'm looking forward to seeing how those love connections are going to go with Ready to Love. We got to see Rashid and Simone become engaged. They proposed on the show to let the other couples know that love is possible to be found here with the help of nephew Tommy and his resources that he gives to make those love connections. Now, this is the second engagement from that show, I believe, because I remember Joy and Clifton, who was also on previous seasons, were engaged. I'm not sure if they got married. I'm going to have to dig deeper into that one. But Joy and Clifton did make a love connection, and they got engaged too. So I guess you can find love on reality TV, right? Maybe. I don't know. Remember the Flavor of Love? Let's ask Tiffany Pollard. Can you really find love on reality TV? Well, I'm Mia C. We live in reality on 101 TKO Radio.
3, 2, 1.
And that was Ari Lennox with Pressure. And this is Mia C. And we are living in reality on 101 TKO Radio. And as promised, it's the top of the hour. I said I was going to dive into the mess that is Carlos King. Now, we hear that name so much lately. It's probably the second, if not the first, most famous name in reality TV. Of course, we all know Andy over in Bravo, but now Carlos is definitely making a name for himself. So, Carlos did a couple of seasons of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, where he became friends with Todd. If you remember, before Todd and Candy was married, Todd was a production assistant on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Him and Carlos worked alongside of each other, and that's where Carlos formed the relationships with, just say, a Sheree, Candy at that time, and Phaedra at that time. And also, just a little side note, you might remember when Phaedra was like, I got this information from production. And that whole scandal came about of her lying on Candy. So that was during Carlos King's reign Entertainment, if you know you know. But during Carlos' time. Well, Carlos is up to his old shady tricks, and he attempted and could possibly still be doing a biopic of Escape, the group Escape. And this was without their consent. So the four ladies in the group Escape, we know Tiny, Candy, Tasha, and Latasha, the other one. Okay. But we know that they already had their own issues, their own falling outs. They already had drama with inside of themselves. And then the word got out to them that Carlos King was shopping a biopic pic of the group Escape. He had been in the works with Jermaine Dupri and doing this all behind the girls' backs. So they did not know. Well, what makes this more shady is that Carlos and Todd already had their own falling out. So once they both was off the show, Todd, of course, you can't date a cast member and you definitely can't marry one and be on the production side. And Carlos had left and moved on in the reality world to make a name for himself as a producer. They joined together to produce a couple of shows. So they joined together and they did Hollywood Wives. If you remember that, it had Countess Vine on the show from Moesha. And so Countess Vine was on the show of Hollywood Wives. The show did okay. It gained a little bit of traction. It wasn't a huge success, but for them to step out on their own, it gave them enough of a name to be able to go to other networks and ask for another show deal, another production deal. And they went on and they got the show called The Encore. Now, back in 21, the show The Encore cast Shamari DeVoe. You might remember her from the group Black, but also she was a housewife as well. She's Ronnie DeVoe's wife. The girls from the group 702, the two sisters. Nivea, we might know Nivea. She was a singer and had about maybe two really well-known songs. She's also known for being one of Lil Wayne baby's mom. Aubrey O'Day, who was from the group Danity Kane, who came out of Diddy's making the band. And she was supposedly on the cast. Connie Williams. Now, you're like Connie Williams. She was one of the girls who started a lot of smoke about the industry and how she was treated in the group 3OW, that she was darker complected and felt that that's why she was kicked out of the group. And so Todd and him had the production deal. The network lighted it, approved it, green lighted it, and they approved them to go for it and have the show The Encore. Well, somewhere things went wrong behind Carlos and Todd. It was reported that Carlos wanted to be in front of the camera more than he wanted to be behind the scenes. And if you know Mr. King, Mr. Carlos King is going to find a way to get in front of that camera somehow, some way, and make himself a reality star as well as a reality show producer. So the Encore didn't really get the success they hoped it would because of the behind the scenes drama, I guess. And so now fast forward, Carlos and Todd have this beef. Carlos also have a little bit of beef behind the Phaedra and Candy issue because it's supposedly production is who planted the seed with Phaedra that told the lie about Candy trying to drug a Portia. Catch up, okay? You got to catch up. Remember, I'm the reality TV expert, so catch up. Go rewind, Google. Remember about when Phaedra said that Portia was they put something in her drink for her to want to have a threesome with Candy and with Todd. And so that supposedly the production was back to Carlos again on that one. So there's already some beef and some issues there with Carlos King, right? And the Tuckers. Well, so when word get out that he's trying to do this biopic pic, Candy goes right to her lawyers and see what she can do to stop it. And unfortunately, the lawyers told her, and this is from Candy herself, that the lawyers told her it wasn't too much she can do. When you're a public figure, anyone can make a movie about you. It doesn't have to be autobiographical. It's from their perspective of what they feel happened to the group. The shade of it all, Carlos. The shade of it all. But I'm here for it. So I would love to see what Carlos comes up with because I can promise you he's going to dig up every little nook and cranny of mess and juice that we never knew the group Escape had. Of course, we know that Kenny slept with JD. We know all about that. We know about the jealousy and who could sing the best and them getting with their husband and the husband wanted to be a producer and the manager. We know all of that. But what else is lying beneath that Carlos is going to bring to the light? So that brings me to Love and Marriage Huntsville, which is produced by Carlos King. So if it's a mess to be had, it's a mess coming from the king himself. So this week we had the reunion, part two, because there are three parts. So part two to the reunion of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Carlos, of course, because they say he want to be in front of the camera, he hosted the reunion himself to get to the nitty and gritty, the dirt of it all, of what is truly going on with the Mel and Martell as the host, and to see what's going on with the Scots for Marcel and Tisha. And we even got to hear a little bit from Kenny and Maurice, the original six. So he brings out Kiki, the cousin. And Tisha is talking with the cousin, and they're going back and forth. You can see there's a lot of love there. However, Kiki did come on the show to kind of stir up a little beef and a little feud of the background, the things that her and Tisha, had been through. Down to Marcel and Tisha bringing up that Kiki had the drug addiction. So Kiki was on painkillers and Marceau and Tisha allegedly made fun of it when talking to Mel and Martell about it. And so Mel brought the cousin, listen to the mess, brought Tisha's cousin on the show to talk about how she suspected that Marceau had been cheating on his wife. Now, this is your cousin. I come from a strong family foundation. My cousins would never, at least they better not ever, come on the show against me. I cannot wait to tell you after this break. We're going to do a music break, and I'm going to come back and tell you about all the dirt that Kiki was slinging on the show. But this is Mia C, your reality TV expert. We are living in reality on 101 TKORadio.com. I do not come here. Oops. But I am your reality TV expert, and this is Mia C, and we are living in reality on 101 TKO Radio. So I've been talking a little bit about Carlos King, and I talked about French Montana, and I have a caller on the line right now. Hey, caller.
Hey girl, hey.
Hey, girl. Hey, what's going on?
I'm living in reality.
Absolutely. So if you live in reality, you tell me what topics this week got you going in reality.
Love and marriage, Huntsville, Alabama.
How can it not be Huntsville? Yes, Huntsville, Alabama, a whole mess with that Carlos King. So I got a question for you. If your enemy approaches your cousin and asks them to come on the show to spill all the dirt, where do you stand with that cousin?
That's not family, because family don't turn against family.
Absolutely not. Family don't turn against family. And so to sum back to the reunion, I want to know if you saw this part where Kiki says that she loves Tisha and would never do anything to hurt her, but at the same time, she's filming with Mel to talk negative about Tisha and Marcel.
No, would never happen in my book.
Would never happen for you, huh?
I'm that big. I'm riding that with my family till the wheels fall off.
Till the wheels fall off. So it's funny. I got one more thing I want to ask you about love in Marriage Huntsville. Some of the viewers feel Destiny is not transparent enough. And Carlos King brought this up at the reunion, saying that she won't share her life enough. She's not as open and honest about things as the other castmates are. Do you feel Destiny should get to return next season?
Only if she's more open to her life, because it's a reality show.
Do we really care about who Destiny is with, though? Like, how tuned in are you for Destiny?
Not really.
Are we really tuned in for Destiny? So,
No, not really.
okay. So I'm looking forward to part 3 of the reunion where Carlos says to Martel, it seems that he says to him, it feels like you're still in love with Mel, and that this charade thing pretty much isn't solid, it's surface. What do you think about Martel with Sheree? And do you think Martel really wants to be back with Mel?
I think he really does want his family back. I do. You can see his facial expressions, and you can see his mannerism, or how when he's around Mel. He's still in love with Mel, and he wants his family dynamic back. I think Cherie is just filling in space right now.
Right. It helps boost both their career for them to both be seen out and about, I think, right now together.
Yes.
So, but personally, I think it's too far gone at this point for Martel and Mel. And Martel doesn't seem to be able to do what's necessary to get his family back. You can't get your family back and you want to Sheree.
Right. And he says all the wrong things.
All the time.
He's hurt because Mel does not want him back.
Right.
So it's like he lashes out, and before he realizes, he said some really hurtful things.
Some very hurtful things, not just on the show, but so Carlos struck gold. This is the show inside of the show. So not only do we get to watch them play out on reality TV, we get to see them on Instagram. These people go live every day. Somebody's live. Marceau is live. Mel is live. Miss Wanda's live. Every day someone is live. So it's kind of the show inside of the show. And Martel is what sparked Miss Wanda to say, like, who's Sugar Mama's baby daddy? It's actually from an interview that Martel did that has sparked all of that. So I feel he's gone too far. Too much has happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that little Sugar Mama look just like him.
That little Sugar Mama look just like him. No denying. One last question, and then I'm going to let you go. Marceau. Is Marceau a cheater or not?
I think so. But he's handling it very well.
Isn't really? Because at this point, we almost 4 years in, and there's no side baby and there's no other woman. The best we had was a little blurry picture of a back. So, well, what's your name? And thank you so much for calling Living in Reality with me. What's your name?
I'm Miss Tori from Chi-Town.
Woo woo, Chi-Town. That's my hometown. Chi-Town till I die town.
Right now.
Thank you so much, Tori, for tuning in and listening to Reality with me, BSC on 101 TKO Radio. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you as well. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Thanks. So back to Kiki. So now we find out that Marcel actually had liked a pig. Now, some people think it was harmless. Some people think, oh my God, it was cheating. But we do find out that Marcel liked a pic that he was sent, I guess, from a young lady on social media. She seemed to be naked. And it kind of disrupted Tisha's day or life. Or she tried to make it seem small now. But some years ago when it happened, obviously it was big. And that she had contacted Kiki about it and was concerned about what was going on in her marriage. So now the cousin, Kiki, has used that against her and brought it up onto the show and have filmed talking about it with Mel publicly. We find out that Mel asked her to come on intentionally to sabotage and to bring up negative aspects of the Scott's marriages. We find out that Mel is still very much bitter, which I've told you guys before. I completely understand it. Not that it's okay, but I understand the base of where it comes from. So we find out that Mel is definitely still holding that bitterness against all of her castmates at this point. We find out that Mel is speaking to other young ladies about coming on the show, and I keep telling you, they're giving out cars in Huntsville. We find out that Marceau bought somebody a Mercedes, allegedly, there in Huntsville, who he was shooting with. We find out that Kimmy doesn't feel that Destiny should be on the show any longer, that she's not as forthcoming and open about her life with this being reality TV. And we got to hear Martell, when they introduced Mel as Miss Melody Sheree, he corrected it quickly and let us know that she's still Melody Holt. So we got to hear that. And those were some of the biggest recaps. Let me say one thing I didn't like, Carlos, because I'm here for your mess. I'm here for all of it. But I didn't like that you classify Stormy as ratchet. Stormy, as a young African American woman, has solidified herself in the beauty industry to attain a multi-million-dollar company. She's branded this company so well, and for you to put her on television and use the term ratchet, to me, diminished her accomplishments. So I didn't like that Carlos called her ratchet with having a ratchet show. That was kind of didn't make sense to me. So I did not like that. But Carlos did let us know no matter what anyone thought, Mel is going to be there and Martell is going to be there, period. That they brought him this show. They're the foundation, regardless of who likes it, whether they're married or not. They will always have a place on Love and Marriage Huntsville. So we heard from Miss Tori in Chicago, and I want to hear from you. So you guys give me a call, 678-439-7419, as we go right to this music break.
Good. Good.
Yay! That's Party Next Door and Drake with Loyal. You listening to Mia C as we are living in reality on 101 TKO Radio. Oh, talk about loyal. Let's talk about disloyal. I need to know more about this Kiki, this cousin who just came on and told all the business. But right now I have a caller on the line. Hey, caller. Hey. Hey, girl. Hey. Oh, okay. Well, I can't hear her right now. So it's my engineer. Take care of that. I'm just going to fast forward and I'm going to go right back into telling you about my messy Carlos King. So, caller, if you can hear me, just stay on the line. They're going to figure out how to get you to talk back to me. Okay? But so we just summed up everything with Kiki. We talked about Mel and with her being bitter. And we talked about her hiring people to actually come on the show to be able to tell that Marceau is cheating. Now, Tisha automatically was like, hey, I know who you called because she called me. And she says that you offered her $5,000. But she would never do that to me. And she didn't want to lie and tell these tales on my husband. But the clincher for me was when Tisha turned around and said, but the young lady said, had she got more money, she would have done it. Huh? So is it true or is it not true? So, like, did she really sleep with Marceau or not? So they tell me that this might be worked out. Caller.
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, girl, hey.
I love it. This is Mia C, and you're living in reality. Tell me what you are living in this week. What reality are you living in?
I'm living in two worlds at the same time. So, not just Huntsville, but Potomac. And
It's so much to unpack
yeah,
with Potomac.
but I got a correction though. I gotta feel like I gotta correct you on something.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
You said that Carlos, called Stormy ratchet. Carlos didn't call Stormy ratchet. He said the viewers
Right.
were saying
Right.
he was ratchet and
So,
that he didn't
yeah.
agree with it.
So I think it's kind of passive aggressive. You have to get into an argument with someone and you say, everybody else say you stupid, but I didn't say that. Yeah, that was me calling you stupid and just using other people as the cushion space. So yeah, you're right. Carlos did say the audience says you're ratchet, but he didn't talk to the whole audience because he didn't talk to me.
You know,
So
I'm like at some point, like I don't. Let's be clear. There was a ratchet moment, several with Stormy. There was a ratchet moment with all of them, right? At some point in time, which we all can agree on. I'm like, and as far as what's the cousin Keisha,
Kiki,
I just think Kiki, sorry.
yeah, no problem.
Um,
Not my cousin.
Kiki is one of those people where I feel like her and Tisha were doing tit for tat because I feel like the reason she even agreed to even have a conversation with Mel was because of what Tisha and Marceau pulled on her with Mel, with the whole like, oh, she probably gonna steal the drugs out your cabinet.
Right.
Don't invite her to your house.
Right. And
So it's
and
like,
I
it's
agree.
nothing to say, oh, I never do that to my family. I never do, but your family did that to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it was like I'm gonna get you back.
So is there any point that you feel Kiki was okay to come on against her favorite first cousin?
Absolutely.
You do? Okay.
Absolutely.
Let me hear about it.
I do feel like there was a point where, I feel like even still now, she's still staying on the show because she's like, no, I feel like at this point, I thought it was interesting that Wanda at one point, or Miss Wanda, had told Kiki at one point, okay, when Carlos asked the question, okay, tell the truth, Kiki, tell the truth. But then later, like, I think that was the first part, right? And then the second part, the same Miss Wanda saying Kiki's a liar. So it's like, girl, pick your lane. Is she lying or is she not? Like, first you're gonna tell the truth when she's saying, oh, Marceau there was some cheating situations going on. And then the next thing, because she said something about your daughter, you're gonna say, don't go against family, you a liar.
This perspective is everything. So when I'm watching it, and I heard Wanda, because she won't get a miss for me. She doesn't carry herself as a miss. I can't give it to her. So with that,
Okay.
I can't give her the miss. I just can't do it. But Wanda, to me, when she was saying tell the truth, it was more in a challenging way. Like, tell the truth, as though to say what you're saying is not true. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. I hear about the tit for tat. However, we never would have known anything about Kiki's drug addiction. Ugh, can't get that together today. Her drug addiction had she not ever made herself a character on the show. Had she just been a simple
They
cousin,
alluded to it. Remember, they alluded to it, which is why she ended up coming on the show.
well, she came on the show the very first time we ever heard about Kiki. She came on the show at the Christmas dinner, and Kimmy was very adamant to say you might need to talk to Tisha instead of coming on here at Mel's party bringing up Tisha's information. Then we saw Kiki have her scene at the restaurant, and she got into it with Tisha, and they go outside. And at that moment, she says, "You discuss some business of mine with Mel." At that moment, we didn't even know what the business was. Then they had the dinner where Wanda had cooked her little food or whatever, and the family was there to eat it. And Marcel challenged, like, "Hey, if you say something, I will burn it down." So, of course, that made viewers want to know, well, what information did Kiki have? And just like most people, I think you should always get in front of the issue. When Marceau alleged as if he had some information over Kiki, I thought it was very smart for Kiki to come back later and say, "Let me reveal my own truth so no one can have it over my head." And that's when she filmed with Mel to say, "Hey, this is what I did. I was hooked on pain pills, and they laughed about me. And so now that I'm relieved of what you have over my head, now I can tell about you." And I think that was the weight off of Kiki's shoulders instead of letting somebody else have anything over her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And see, but that's what I'm saying with the tip for tat. It's like she took her power back. And again, if they keep baiting this woman, Kiki, to say certain things, and you could tell, even with her ear, right, she was trying to hold back on what she knew. But now let's not forget, Marceau sat on that couch and said, "What did you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about." She's like, "No, yes, you did." And then when she repeated whatever the text message or whatever it was that he said back, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that was true."
I think we can all agree.
But they study mad at this woman for telling quote unquote their business, but y'all keep putting her in the middle of it.
I agree. But remove yourself, Kiki. That's your cousin. Let them have that shine. Let them have this moment. Remove yourself. I'm going to tell my cousins right now, if y'all got some dirt on me, we better keep it in the closet. If it comes to light, it better not come through you. If there's some dirt.
But guess what? If you pull a Kiki card, because I'm definitely, I ain't gonna sound Kiki, because I'm a person who, I'm of the opinion. You ain't gonna tell my business. I'm gonna let you know. So there's no question. There's no question about what happened, because I'm gonna get it to you straight, no chaser. Okay?
You gonna air it all out.
About whether I'm gonna hurt somebody's feelings, because if somebody's feelings get hurt, so be it. Not so be it in a crass way, but okay, this is the truth. So you ain't got to go into ask no questions or was it the truth or was it a half truth. But nope, here it is. Because you ain't finna have nothing on me.
Okay.
If I did dirt in real life.
So I got one thing I want you to do for me. What's your name?
Sabrina.
Hi, Sabrina. I want you to give me a 30-second summary of what's going on Potomac then. Because it sounds like you're living in reality with me.
I am. Okay, so just Potomac. Giselle has no life and no business. Robert has no life and no business. Candace is a hoot, but at the same time, you love to hate her. And with Karen and what's the one they brought back down, Cherie.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
That whole I really feel for Karen on this one. I feel I align with her in that Cherie is trying to make Karen her storyline.
I agree.
Stop trying to have a battle with this woman who wants nothing to do with you. And you keep baiting and trying to bait her into something so you can have some camera time. You good.
And where do you stand with the Chris situation?
That old man.
And where do you stand with the Chris situation?
I was just about to say, the Chris situation pisses me off to no end because as a married woman myself, you ain't finna sit here allowing my husband to see him. I'm sorry. Ooh, can I say that now?
You said it.
Sorry. You can't, I'm just saying, that's a very serious allegation to say that somebody was, having some type of affair or, especially with your friend circle. That is very serious. And to me, if you won't stop yourself from doing that, you won't stop yourself from lying about being raped.
Wow.
And that's just, if you are willing to go that far, no, we good. That, I think that's deplorable. It's the that's just
I
Oh,
agree. Now, I definitely did not agree with the entire Chris thing. I'm so glad that it came out and was proven not to be true. I'm a huge fan of Giselle Bryant. I have been since the very first day she came on the show. I was always rooting for her and Jamal to rekindle. I guess being down here in Atlanta with Jamal being such a public figure down here in Atlanta, having the church, but I was always definitely rooting for Giselle, and I still am. I absolutely love her on the show, and I think she makes great reality TV. They were considering her for the girls trip, the ultimate girls trip that's coming up. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about the cast on the upcoming show, The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip that's coming up. And some of your favorite faces are going to be back on reality TV to see them there. Thank you so much, Sabrina, for calling in and living in reality with me, Mia C. We're going to do a quick music break, and I'll be back with the Ultimate Girls Trip update.
woohoo!
We are still living in reality here on 101 TKO Radio. How you doing? I want to say thank you to all my callers who called in. Carlos definitely got some fire up under us, right? To about what's going on with Love and Marriage Huntsville. Now, don't sleep on them, and because keep in mind we have Bell Collective. He just gave the green light and says that Bell Collective is coming back. If you're not familiar with Bell Collective, they actually had two micro seasons, and they're minority women who are entrepreneurs in Jackson, Mississippi. So the culture in Mississippi supposedly is super different. I personally have not experienced Jackson, Mississippi myself, but the culture is just so different. And the things that they're privileged to and the movement there is supposed to make this show like extremely exciting. I'm sure they have the typical drama of relationships and trying to maintain friendships and who's jealous of me. And I'm sure they'll have all of that. So be on the lookout for Bell Collective, and that's going to fall somewhere right after with Carlos King show. He also talked about him coming back to his night show that he had the nightcap with Carlos King, where he brings on guests very much like a what's happening live. What is it with Indy? Watch What Happens Live. It's very much that type of format. That's where we got to watch Mel tell us about Tisha's daddy being in her DM. That was a highlight of that show. So Carlos said he'll be back with that and Bell Collective. Again, Vanderpump Rules is on its way back. Vanderpump Rule will be returning, and they have cast the real world. Oh my God, that's on my mind. Hey Tammy, hey. But they have cast the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, and they're bringing back our favorites. So we're back to Phaedra because Phaedra's good for a good old read. So we're gonna have Phaedra, Eva Marcel, Brandy Glanville, and Vicky all coming back. So I'm going to be tuned in more so of where they're filming this go round. They actually have a great budget, and they're going to Morocco. So they're going to take all their drama, all their reads, all their shade over to Morocco. So I'm going to be excited to tune in to watch that. And it's supposed to have a couple of surprises with some people who is going to be on the cast who they haven't announced yet. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Like I said, Ready to Love has returned. So I'm just kind of wrapping up all the new shows that's coming out and what we're going to prepare for. We have Ready to Love coming back, like I told you, with nephew Tommy. So we're ready to see who's ready to love or who's not ready to love. And we also have Married at First Sight. I was just telling my engineer, this whole marriage thing is just messing me up. Like this whole I got a husband situation is not working for me. In that, the poor you go back and call and tell. in that, I want to do a show similar to like Married at First Sight. Can you truly meet a stranger and make a relationship work? I would love to test that out and see that. So Married at First Sight is back, and they're in Nashville, Tennessee. And I am so looking forward to seeing how that works. One of the young ladies on the show, Mother, actually called producers and submitted the application for her daughter to go on the show and marry someone, Love at First Sight. So I can't wait to see Married at First Sight. I'm just super excited about it. I watched the backstory of the Nashville crew this weekend, and I watched the very first episode. So as it unfolds and we see them meeting each other, living together, and trying to maneuver and figure out what their lives will look like with this stranger. And a show like Love is Blind, I can't wait for Love is Blind to come back. But to just really have that element of surprise, who am I marrying? You know, who am I marrying today? Who's my husband? And so I would be excited to do that type of show. Hey, you know, I already got the husband, so there's that. And we cannot forget, of course, the standby favorites, which is Love and Hip Hop. And so right now we're doing Love and Hip Hop Family Reunion. This week to me was a little bit dry. Nothing major stood out too much. It was a lot of division in the first couple of shows. And so now it seems as if they're moving to a healing type of element, and they want everyone to tell their backstories. We find out again about Alexis Sky being trafficked and the things that she went through. And so they're setting this healing foundation. I guess because the first 2 or 3 episodes were so volatile, so that's the way to clean it up right now. What stood out to me the most this week is going to be Chrissy and her relationship with Mama Jones. If you remember, Chrissy and Jim Jones have been together like umpteen years. I think seriously, they're running about 17 to 18 years of dating. She had proposed to Jimmy back on the show, and nothing ever came of it. Her and Mama Jones did not have the best relationship, and it caused like a lot of tension. And so now is focusing on Chrissy and Mama Jones trying to heal again, that healing element of them reuniting, and Mama Jones trying to accept her after all these years, to accept her as part of Jimmy's family and Jimmy's life. So I thought that was good. It's a little dry. I think when we saw Mama Jones was going to be on the show, we expected a different type of element and to see a different interaction between her and Chrissy because that's what we have been used to. But they're trying to show us a healing situation right now. So I'm here for it, I guess. You always want to see the healing, but in reality TV, do you really want to see the healing? So that part I'm not sure about. They're going out the extra mile to let us see Scrap and Alexis Sky in a romantic sense. I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying it. I get what the producers are doing and putting that forth their storyline. I'm not personally buying it. The other storyline they're trying to push on us is fresher. In the wife situation, the girlfriend, she wants an elaborate wedding of about $250,000, and he's saying that that's money that can be used for an investment. And I was just thinking, like, they had 250,000 for a wedding. That I was more wrapped up in that, but they're pushing that narrative on us right now, and so it sparked a lot of debate on Instagram. Is it the wedding you want, or is it the marriage you want? And so I think Love and Hip Hop, they did a pretty good job with that. But right now, you got to come with something a little bit better. They already put Carly off for fighting. They put Tokyo off for fighting. So it's not too much left out there. They're making Spice seemingly the star of the show. Spice is a star on her own right. But Love and Hip Hop, you're failing for me. You're failing. I'm not here for it. Sorry. So, but I am Mia C. So I'm always going to have an opinion because where do I live? In reality. And so I'll be right back. I want to say all my thank yous and my goodbyes after this music break. So stay tuned. 101 TKO Radio. Radio. Well, we made it through again, and we're starting to wrap it up because I can only live in reality so long, but I have to go live in reality. So I want to thank everyone who called in and supported me today, everyone who likes, shares any of my posts and comment or follows me. I am Mia C on Instagram, and I'm not telling you name on Facebook because that means you was already cool with me before. And if you're cool with me now, then follow me over on Instagram. I am Mia C, and we will talk about reality all the time. So again, I want to thank each and every one of you, and I'm looking forward to talking to you guys next week. Just remember that we do have Love and Hip Hop, the reunion, still I'm just so excited about leaving, I guess. You ever be so excited to leave work that you done forgot your shoes, your purse, your bag, and you get out to the car and realize you left your keys? That's how excited I am right now. But because I am going to a dance class tonight, and I absolutely love dance class. So I'm just making sure I'm not late for that. But we are looking forward to watching the reunion. Like I said, Carlos is going to give us something else, and we're going to find out if Martell is actually some love with the male. We're going to watch Love and Hip Hop, the family reunion, and find out what's going to happen with Mama Jones and Chrissy. That's the storyline that I'm truly following there the most. We're waiting to hear more about Diddy Plus 7 to see what's going to happen with this reality show. And if Nick Cannon is going to copy with like Nick Plus 12, let's see about that. But until then, until Thursday, I'm looking forward to living in reality with each and every one of you. So thank you. I am Mia C. We are living in reality on 101 TKO Radio. Oh, I hate when I get stumbled.